A couple of questions for you. The UN Secretary General spoke to the AP over the weekend, and in the interview, he called on the U.S. and China to repair a relationship that he says is, quote, completely dysfunctional. He warned of a potential new Cold War and said the U.S. and China need to be cooperating more on COVID and other global challenges. So how would you respond to the UN Secretary General on his call for the U.S. and China to be more friendly, I suppose?
Well, first I would say the president's view and this administration's view is that our relationship with China is one not of conflict, but of competition. And so we wouldn't agree with the characterization of the relationship. As I would note in the readout of the president's call with President Xi just last week, a 90-minute call that covered an extensive list of topics. It was a conversation that was candid, but it was certainly not elevated. And we recognize that China is a country that, while we may take issue with some means they engage in the world, we also have areas we will want to continue to work together. And that is certainly many of the topics that were raised by the Secretary General. The President obviously has a meeting with him later this evening. I would also note that tomorrow the President will deliver a speech, as you all know, at the UN General Assembly, and he will make absolutely clear that he is not looking to pursue a new Cold War with any country in the world. We will continue to pursue our interests. We will continue to lift up global priorities, but that is not the objective or the policy of the United States.
Another China-related question. Can you say how concerned the administration is about the stability of China's real estate sector, given the issues with China Evergrande? And is it the administration's view that the People's Bank of China can keep those issues from spilling over into other sectors and possibly affecting U.S. interests?
Well, let me first note that this is a company based in China whose activities are overwhelmingly centered in China. That being said, we always are monitoring global markets, obviously from the Department of Treasury primarily, including the assessment of any risk to the U.S. economy, and stand prepared to respond appropriately if needed. But that monitoring would happen primarily from the Department of Treasury and our Secretary of Treasury, of course.
One more really quickly. Is there any reaction from the White House to the conviction earlier today of the man who inspired Hotel Rwanda? He's a U.S. resident. He was a recipient of a Presidential Medal of Freedom.
I understand, and I would like to get you a more comprehensive reaction to it. I know this is a question that others will have in the room, so let me venture to do that after the briefing. Go ahead.
What does the President want to tell President Macron about the submarine deal?
Well, first, I think, as had been noted in some reports, so let me just confirm this, I guess. The President will have a call. We're still working on the scheduling of it with President Macron in the coming days. And what I expect the President will do on that call is reaffirm our commitment to working with one of our oldest and closest partners on a range of challenges that the global community is facing. And he, of course, will discuss recent developments and our ongoing work together on a range of issues. Certainly our shared interest in the Indo-Pacific, but also a range of global challenges and issues. I would also note that the President spoke in his remarks last week, he acknowledged that France has a substantial Indo-Pacific presence and is a key partner and ally in strengthening security and prosperity. But most importantly, we continue to look forward to our close alliance with France, one of our strongest partnerships as we work to address a range of issues in the world.
You have no plans to abandon the submarine deal, do you?
No, we do not.
And secondly, back in July, you opted not to lift the travel restrictions on international visitors. What's changed between then and now?
Well, back in July, we also announced that there were a series of working groups that were both interagency and working with a range of countries and partners in the world to determine what the most equitable and clear policies should be moving forward to resume broader international travel. And the older rules were not equitable in our view, and they were a bit confusing. And so this was an effort to pursue that. As was announced in a call earlier today, but I can reaffirm some of the specifics that were announced. Starting in November, we will be implementing, I should say, in early November, we'll be putting in place strict protocols to prevent the spread of COVID-19 from passengers flying internationally into the United States by requiring that adult foreign nationals traveling to the United States be fully vaccinated. Obviously, this is the conclusion of a policy process on that particular issue, an important one facing many people around the world.